Stanford University.
Okay, so what we've got now are all these examples where I think we've got categories of basic building blocks, aggression, empathy, theory of mind, but where we're doing it in ways that are completely unprecedented. But then we move into this final domain where we do things where there is simply nothing else like it in the animal world. And there's lots of examples of it. Behavior, our communication, our language use. Let me give you the example, though, the thing that I think is most defining and most importantly who we are. And it could be stated in this fairly abstract sense here of a circumstance where the less it is possible that something can be, the more it must be. Now, what do I mean by this? Let me make this a little bit less abstract here and frame it within a certain type of theology, but the whole notion of not only being able to hold a contradiction in your head, but the very contradictory nature of it is what makes it vital and essential and a moral imperative. Let me give you a more explicit example of it. This is a Catholic nun named Sister Helen Prejean, and what she has done is spent her entire life ministering to the needs of men on death row in a maximum security prison in Louisiana. Some of the most frightening, nightmarish humans who have ever walked this earth, some of the most deplorable people out there, and naturally, endlessly she is asked, how can you spend your time doing this with people like that? And she has always had a very simple answer, which is the less forgivable the act, the more it must be forgiven. The less lovable the person is, the more you must find the means to love them. And this one does not come easily. And on a certain level, the harder this is, this contradiction, to take the impossibility of something to be the very proof that it must be possible and must become a moral imperative, the harder it is to do that, the more important it is. And that winds up being very relevant to this circumstance here, and probably a good sort of spot for closing. You guys, as of tomorrow around noon, are officially educated. And as part of your education, what has happened is you've learned something about the ways of the world, how things work. You've learned the word realpolitik. You've had your eyes opened up. You've wised up. And one of the things that happens is when you've wised up enough, there's a very clear conclusion that you have to reach after a while, which is, at the end of the day, it's really impossible for one person to make a difference. And thus, the more clearly, absolutely, utterly, irrevocably, unchangeably clear it is that it is impossible for you to make a difference and make the world better, the more you must. You guys are educated, you are privileged, you are well-connected, you are enormously lucky if you are sitting here at this juncture, and thus what that means is there's nobody out there who is in a better position to be able to sustain a contradiction like this for your entire life and use it as a moral imperative. So do it. And good luck and have good lives in the process.